You know, I have to tell you one of my least favorite things in the world. My least favorite things, not my most favorite, my least favorite is when the air conditioner breaks down and it's 100-degree weather. And that's what we've been having lately. We've been having these insanely hot days. And when your family is in a crunch, when you're uncomfortable, when you're all kind of snipping at each other because you're miserably hot and your AC unit broke down, don't panic. Call my friends over at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Not only are they smart because they're a sponsor of this podcast, so that's pretty legit, but also they're family owned and operated, locally owned and operated, and veteran owned and operated. And they've got great deals going on right now. So if you need a new AC unit, or maybe you just need to get that tune up to make sure it's going to be able to make it, because we just have gotten started with this heat. Call my friends at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air.com. That's Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the podcast. It is officially Monday. I was gone a little bit last week. I went kind of on like an eat, pray, love trip to see some family in Kansas. And I'm talking about like Kansas.
Can you
Like,
really put Eat, Pray, Love and Kansas together when didn't what I don't know anything about that other than didn't Julia Roberts go to Italy?
she went to India. She actually, I think, I never saw the movie, but from what I gather, she went to a couple of different places in that movie.
I thought it was like Tuscany or something.
But none of them were to
Hayes, Kansas.
Hayes, Kansas, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I had a great time. It was wonderful seeing some of my family. My cousin actually has a song on the top 100 charts right now. She's a singer, and her name is Sarah, and the song is called Boots on the Dance Floor. And so we went out there because she was having a professional music video done in this tiny town that, when I say tiny, I mean like Children of the Corn tiny.
No stoplights.
There is no stoplights. There are like 5 houses and a cemetery and a church. It is legitimately, I think, where they filmed the movie Children of the Corn. Every time I go there, I'm like, well, I think they probably filmed it here. That's where I went.
Good for you. Eat, Pray, Love.
I have so many friends who are like, I'm going to Belize. I'm going to Italy. I'm like, I'm going to Palco, Kansas.
Yeah, it is great because you're like saying you're going to Hayes, Kansas, because that's the town that people actually know, quote unquote, but it's still like a half hour outside of that. So yeah, no, it's middle of nowhere, middle America.
Yeah, so that's where I was for the end of last week. So sorry we didn't get to the weekly roundup. We definitely will this week because there is something going on. Something is in the water when it comes to Hollywood. And I'm talking about Tyler Perry is totally getting Me Too'd right now, but with another man. And apparently, this is allegedly what I had heard is that this guy is coming with some nasty text messages between he and Tyler Perry. And allegedly, in these conversations, Tyler Perry says, and this tracks, okay? Tyler Perry says, I can't come out as gay because there are so many churches that buy my products, you know, all those Medea movies. And there's always like a feel good vibe at the end of, you know, Tyler Perry movies from what I've seen. I can tell you I've never seen a Medea movie, but it just doesn't seem like it would kind of be my thing. But I can tell you that this is huge. The guy is suing Tyler Perry for $260 million. That's another thing. I feel like when people sue now, it's like, I'm going to sue you and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren.
But it's more stunning that Tyler Perry is worth that much money because he is off of Medea movies.
Off of the Medea movies, which really is quite shocking. But that's just kind of a roundup of where I've been and kind of the things that I've heard. So again, that will be on the weekly roundup on Friday. It's brought to you by Christiana Salon Spa. And what I really want to talk about is Netflix has this docuseries. I have been really into documentaries, so just stick with me right now because I watched one today that was really good. It was about Jay Sebring. And that name you may think, I don't know who that is.
I think that's the convertible. The
Yeah,
Sebring
well,
convertible.
okay, so that's not his real last name,
Okay.
but he changed it because of the car. So
Okay.
you kind of got a little something on it. But Jay Sebring was one of the folks who was brutally murdered by Charles Manson, a good friend of Sharon Tate, actually like an ex-lover. And this movie, this documentary was made
Hold
by
on. Hold on. Sorry. You just skipped over that. You went, he's a good friend of her ex-lover, and just completely. So which one was it? Was he a good friend or was it a
Well,
lover?
I don't want to give it away, but they were lovers.
Okay.
They had fallen in love with each other, and then she went to Europe to make a movie where she met Roman Polanski, who she ended up getting pregnant by, and she broke up with Jay, but they still stayed very, very, very close, which is why he was at the house the night of the Tate murders. And I have to tell you, this is such a sad story, but this movie is done by his nephew, who's like, every time you read about anything with the Manson murders, all you read about is Sharon Tate was the victim, and then there were others.
Mm.
You know, there were 4 others.
Sure.
And so he was like, I want to give my uncle this this documentary to show that he wasn't just another. He was an actual person with a family and a backstory, and so that right now you can watch that on Pluto TV, which you sometimes have to watch some car insurance commercials, but it's free. Other than that, so I highly recommend that if that's interesting to you. I'm kind of a creep, so the Manson murder thing, that's fascinating to me. And so, and then they talked in this documentary, and I know I'm going on, but it's because it's so good. They talk in this documentary about like how there was such a cultural shift where everybody was, you know, like if you looked on Saturday Night Live, they were doing bits about Charles Manson. People now wear T-shirts with his mugshot on it. You know what I'm saying? Like millions of dollars have been made off of this murder.
But is it like public domain?
It's public domain. So people are cashing in on their own. So say I want to make a T-shirt with his mugshot on it, I can do that. It's
because
public
no
domain.
one owns the Manson name or whatever.
Right. So everybody, I mean, like bumper stickers, and it's on. They've made so many different movies about the Manson murders, and I just thought it was a really interesting documentary because, frankly, I really don't know anything else about the other people who were killed that night except for Sharon Tate. So
sure.
Highly recommend this documentary. It's so good. It's Jay Sebring, and you can watch it on Pluto TV. Another documentary that I've yet to watch, but it looks so tasty and so delicious, and it's on Netflix, and it's about the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. The show is called America's Sweetheart, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, and it talks a lot about all the different things that you have to do to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. And they set all these rules in place back in 1972. So you may think, wow, between 1972 and 2025, a lot of these have probably changed. And I'm going to say none of them have changed. They're just kind of getting like some rando free pass if you want to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. So they decided in 1972 that there were going to be some guidelines, and some of the guidelines included things as, obviously, you have to be a certain weight. They do not care. They are not budging on the whole big is beautiful and you have to be a certain size. And while I haven't watched this documentary about the cheerleaders, I have seen clips of it like on TikTok, and it's so sad because they'll be like, you gained 2 pounds, so we're going to send you home. And the girl will just weep and be, because to them in Texas, football is like everything. And so the fact that these girls got cut, it's really kind of sad to watch. Also, there are little things like you're not allowed to, if you have a boyfriend or a husband, you're not allowed to talk about it. You don't want to you can't wear your ring around. They don't want anyone to think that you are attached to anybody. Isn't that interesting?
Super weird.
Like what do you think some of the things would be that they would have to follow? Like what are some other rules? Because there's a few of them.
Well, I know for a long time that they weren't getting paid very well. Like it was like you get like a stipend per game, like a per diem per game, and that was pretty much it. Like it's like $50 a game. Here you go.
Well, so not only do they have to go to all the practices, they have to also go to all the like events, different events that these cheerleaders go to and do, whether it's for a charity or if it's fundraising or whatever. They have to be at that. They have to do a strict audition camp that's mandatory. You have to go to the pre camp in order to get to the camp, which I believe is what this documentary is about. So that looks incredibly interesting. That's another one that I'm going to be watching, but it's crazy. You have to be, but a lot of these make sense. If you're going to do the job, if you're going to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, there should be a requirement that you know how to do a cartwheel and you know how to be flexible. Your body can bend all sorts of ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be something like that. So I'm reading this and I'm like, I guess I kind of get why there's the size limit. I mean, it sucks, but it kind of is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Part of me is like, wow, Dallas really has stood strong on this and they haven't really caved to the whole everybody is different and everybody is perfect. And no matter how, it's like, listen, you got to look this way. You got to be this size. You got to know how to do these things. And if you don't, bye, bitch, you gain 2 pounds.
Here's a question coming from a pretty avid sports watcher.
Okay.
Right? NFL specifically. Let's just limit it to NFL. Don't you think we're pretty at a point where we're pretty done with cheerleaders? Like, why do we have cheerleaders at a game?
I don't know. I don't like kids will get excited. You know, like
but like only the cheerleaders, right, are there for 2 people. Okay. They're there for the in-person entertainment. Okay, like people in the stands saying they're like cheering, but that's gone, right?
Yeah.
You can't hear them. They're not leading a cheer for 80,000 people. Okay,
right.
So why are they there for the in-stand stuff? Okay, then there's the TV aspect where they scan across and they're shaking pom-poms or whatever.
Yes.
Right, when they score a touchdown. Okay, that's really the only thing that I'm not saying that like if you're a cheerleader, great. I'm just saying like, but why are we at a point where we have cheerleaders at NFL games?
I don't know. It's tradition, I guess. It's tradition. And listen, as goofy as you think it is, there are a lot of young girls who look up to that, especially in Dallas, and they want to be a cheerleader. These girls, if you watch clips or maybe the entire show, these girls, this is just their heart and their soul, and this is all they want.
I understand it for a couple of things, like when the crowd is smaller and you can actually lead a cheer. Colleges where they actually do cheers, like the crowd does cheers, high schools, all those things. I understand that. NBA, NFL, I don't understand why there are cheerleaders.
I don't know.
Even just in the name of it, cheerleader. They're not leading any cheers in NBA or NFL games.
You're making me feel really good that you're not the type of guy that's going to go oogling at the cheerleaders.
I was actually going to say this. So the Cowboys are known for, they've always had, very high shorts, certain look, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Cleavage is out all the time and whatever. Do you know what I think is like just the classiest damn cheerleader outfit like in the world?
Tell me.
It is the University of Southern California. And I'm going to show you that.
Okay. So for those of you who aren't listening, if you are watching this episode, I will put visuals so you can see it. But it's essentially they're wearing sweaters.
Yeah. Like think about like 1950s.
But can I ask,
sweater.
would 43-year-old Ryan, who thinks that the sweater look is great, would 18-year-old Ryan say, I choose that over titties?
I guarantee you that, like, if you showed the USC cheerleaders to guys in college, they would be like, that's very attractive.
As opposed to the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Come on. I've always thought so. I like the USC cheerleaders.
So essentially, they show no cleavage. It looks very 19 kind of 50s.
Yeah.
And they're gorgeous. Holy cow.
Right, but I don't know that over the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders or just I don't know. Like I'm not to say like I don't
You
know
don't like
feminism. Yeah,
boobs.
of course, but like I'm just like I don't know if it's a little bit of a sports purist, but like what are we doing there? Like the purpose of it,
I don't know.
and those games where there's 80,000 people where you can't hear anybody cheerleading.
I think that it is part of the whole rigmarole of football, and I don't know if they're ever going to get rid of it. But they did get rid of that Victoria's Secret fashion show for a while because people thought it was awful. And then they came back with it, and it just wasn't the same.
I don't think it's
okay. I'm going to say something that makes me just sound so awful. But I used to watch Victoria's Secret fashion shows, and I was like, oh, that is goals.
Sure.
You want to look good. I didn't think any of them, maybe I'm wrong. I saw like six packs and they looked good. They were slim. They were tight. And I
and
remember,
those shows were for the girls.
and yeah, every year I would watch it and I
But
was like,
guys
oh my
wouldn't sit
God.
down and watch Victoria's Secret fashion.
Oh, please.
No.
There are guys that would. Yes,
Oh, okay. I'm sure that there are, but I don't know. Like that was none of the things that my guy friends did. Like, let's sit down and watch the Victoria's Secret runway show.
It's like when you listen to a singer, like if you listen to Whitney Houston, you are listening because she is the best singer. And I feel like the original angels from Victoria's Secret fashion show, you looked at them like those are the hottest chicks I have ever seen before. And then they started getting all loosey-goosey where they're like, all right, that wonk-eyed chick over there, you can be an angel. And you over there with the peg leg, you're an angel. And after a while, it's just kind of like, well, I think we've lost focus on the excellence. Now, I'm not trying to be a biatch because obviously I'm not excellent enough to do any of these things, but this is just the way that I look at it. So to go back to the cheerleading thing, if you go to the actual website, say you decide you want to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
Sure.
The first thing you're going to see on the website in big, bold, capital letters, candidates who do not feel they can attend all rehearsals should not complete being a Dallas Cowboys or should not contemplate being a Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders because the contracts that they sign are just for 1 year. So only 1 year you are guaranteed this job. And they keep a close eye on you. And in that 1 year, you have to participate in rehearsals, travel, cheer, dance camps for children, media interviews. You have to do everything. It's called the total commitment. And you're required, and it's strict attendance. If you miss anything, you're out of there. And we're talking, like Ryan said, we're talking about like getting on an airplane and going somewhere, and they don't get paid. Will you look this up while we're talking?
Yeah.
What is that? What does a cheerleader get?
I know
paid?
it was awful, and it's be getting better. But I know because the thing that came out this week is they're getting a 400% pay raise.
Oh, good.
Right. One former cheerleader told the New York Times she made $15 an hour and $500 for each appearance in 2024.
See, and that's insane. That's just insane, right? Or is it not? Because they're just
in 2024, $15 an hour to be the best of what you do and whatnot. And don't get me going.
Well, so anyway, I'm that's what I'm going to be binging on next is the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders making the team. It's a show. It's a documentary that you can watch. I guess it's more of a reality show. They actually do weekly weigh-ins. In what other job could you get away with being like, get on that scale? Oh my God, you're up 2 pounds. They don't care if it's water weight. They're just going to kick you right off the damn team. And it's intense. And oh my gosh, listen to this. According to the New York Times, the coach of these girls would occasionally take pictures of the girls and circle the parts of their bodies in front of everybody. And say, this is too bulgy.
Hold on.
Yes.
This is for a football game.
I know. This is why I'm telling you. I read this and I was like, you got to be kidding me right now. But the coach will get in front of the girls with a picture of, say, Susie over there. Susie, she's been doing great, but she got a little junk in her trunk over Christmas break. So she'd circle her butt and pointed out to everybody, like getting a little too fat here. Again, there's a part of me that's like, wow, they really have stuck to their guns about these rules and regulations in 2025. But then there's a part of me that's like, you're a cheerleader.
But you're a cheerleader, but where are cheerleaders needed? Right? Where
To
you can lead
cheers.
cheers. And
Yeah.
that does not happen there.
Yeah.
It is literally for aesthetics, and that's it.
Well, I'm just, how sad. One cheerleader, it says on this show, was turned away because she was too short. She was too short. Also, another rule, you don't get a new uniform. You get fitted for one uniform, and that is the size you must stay the entire time. You're not allowed to adjust anything. So if you go up, if you go down, you're done. They just say, well, guess what? It doesn't fit you, and you're out of it. Your hair also must be worn down at all times.
Okay.
It's just, I'm sorry. I know it's kind of annoying, but this is just so many rules for. So do they get 4 times the pay? Did you find out how much a cheerleader makes?
They're going to make $60 an hour now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is so not enough.
Yeah.
That is, because all they're thinking about is eating food, like real people food, and they're not going to be able to do that.
Hey, not to jump back on topics, but I think we've hit this one into the ground here.
Go.
But I was looking at the Jay Sebring thing you were talking about, and like
Yes.
the Manson stuff,
Yes.
which made me think of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And that Jay Sebring was his character, or who he was. They played him
Yeah.
in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so he's in that stuff, which made me think of Brad Pitt.
Totally.
Brad Pitt's new movie, I am not. It's F1.
Yeah.
I don't care for F1. Not that I won't watch it. I'm just like, whatever, not my jam, anything. That movie looks freaking phenomenal.
Really?
It looks great.
I don't know. Did it do well this
It
weekend at the
hasn't come out
box
yet.
office? Oh, it hasn't come out
It comes
yet?
out next week.
See, I have zero interest. I'll go with you.
But it looks good. It looks like Days of Thunder good.
You think so?
Yeah.
I saw that, because we'll go to a movie and they'll play
Uh-huh.
the trailer for it. But I think I've always thought to myself every time I see it, oh, that'll be a quick in and out,
You think so?
like a Max Powers situation.
Yeah, no. But this one does, like, the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, these trailers actually look damn good.
Is Brad Pitt even bankable anymore?
I don't know. Once Upon a Time, didn't he win an Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I don't think did he?
I thought he did.
I don't know. Look it up. But what I will say is I can't remember the last good movie Brad Pitt was in. But then again, I'm not a Brad Pitt gal, so I guess I haven't really made it a point to go out and watch everything he's come out with.
I think dudes are more Brad Pitt dudes than
I don't
the
think
girls
he
are.
won an Oscar. I think Leonardo DiCaprio won the Oscar.
No, he won an Oscar for Revenant.
For what?
The Revenant, where he fought the bear.
Oh, you're talking about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, but it looks like.
There's no way he won.
I don't know.
I don't think Brad Pitt has, has Brad Pitt ever won an Oscar?
Well, I'm trying to type it with one finger as I sit here and hold this thing.
Brad Pitt ever?
I don't know.
No, there's no way.
Do you know how hard it is to type with one finger?
Okay,
while
give
you're
it to
holding
me.
a microphone.
Has Brad Pitt ever won an Oscar? And the answer is no. Wait, hang on.
Since we're going to edit this part, I'm going to do it too.
Well, wait a second. He
Did
has.
Brad Pitt win an Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
He's won 2 of them.
Best Supporting Actor, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wait a second. He has won 2 Academy
Uh-huh.
Awards.
Brad Pitt wins first acting Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. See? That was like in the last couple of years. He won an Oscar. So yeah, is he bankable? I think so.
Okay, but wait, what was the other one he won an Oscar for? I'm trying to look this up and I can't find anything.
Well, I don't know if he won that for acting. Maybe he was for something else.
Best Picture in 2014. He won that. See, what the heck? God, I'm so prepared for today, aren't I?
Mhm. But I
Anyway,
think
Brad
that
Pitt won 2 of them.
I think that Brad Pitt is much more a guy's movie, or guys like Brad Pitt in his movies versus girls. I don't think girls are, maybe there are Brad Pitt fans, I don't know.
So
but like listen to the movies that Brad Pitt has been in.
Well, before you start the movie, just want to tell you that he did win an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. Because he produced it. And I think he did have a small part in that. So that was his first Academy Award back in 2012. And then he won for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Zing.
Fight Club.
Yeah, that's a dude film.
12 Monkeys.
Never seen it.
12 Monkeys is pretty good.
Well, you're a dude.
Okay. Yeah. Seven.
Great movie.
Seven's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Like,
creepy.
You think about 30 years later, phenomenal.
Yeah, still good.
Yeah. Oceans, all the Oceans movies.
Okay.
Right? But those are all guy movies. That's what I'm saying.
Those are
Like,
dude
guys
movies.
love those movies. I think guys like Brad Pitt more. The World War Z.
Great movie.
That's
you
what
know
I'm saying.
what? Maybe I am a huge Brad Pitt fan, and I didn't even realize it.
Right? He's been in that. Moneyball was great.
Legends of the Fall, Interview with the Vampire was solid.
Yeah, like all these things, he's like, God, yeah, Brad Pitt's awesome. And then he's been in a bunch of ones that, sorry, I'm skipping around here.
Well, you know what? We're running out of time here. I know. Do you want me to order you a stand, dear?
No, we need to get that fixed. He has been in some like duds, it looks like the astronaut movie, Bullet Train. But there's been a lot of other ones that are just friggin' solid. Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, so thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Be sure to listen to tomorrow's episode because we're going to be talking about a couple who traveled 14 hours to a destination wedding, which is not that crazy, right? I mean, it's crazy, but it's not that crazy. Only to get there and find out they were not invited.
Ugh.
Yeah. What do you do in that situation? We're going to talk about that story tomorrow on the podcast. Be sure to follow on social media. And thank you so much for listening. I would have to say one of my favorite things about Garage Door Service and Sales is the family aspect of it. I mean, they have been in business for almost 7 decades. Think about it, 7 decades. That's how long they have been servicing and putting in garage doors all over northern Colorado. And they're great at what they do. They've got a great rating with the Better Business Bureau. And again, it's that family feeling because, again, they're family owned and operated. So they truly care about you. You're not just another cog in the wheel of the machine I don't even know if that analogy made any sense. But what I'm saying is when you work with them, they do truly care about your home. They want to make sure it's safe, it's secure, it's stylish, and they do everything from just your house. Maybe you got a spring broken or maybe you want something new. And they also work with builders as well. So if you got multiple homes, you need multiple doors, you just call my friends at Garage Door Service and Sales, or better yet, go online, garagedoorserviceandsales.com. Garage Door Service and Sales, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.